Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest sea so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest seas so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest sea so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest seas so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest sea so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest seas so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky, to the farthest sea so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Just let the wind take my heart it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest sea, so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here, through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where it needs to be. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest seas so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. Take this heart and let it soar across the sky to the farthest seas so it will go. Even if we are apart, you'll still be in my heart to keep you safe and sound through the night. You're still in my heart. Oh, please let the wind take my heart away. Let it fly to somewhere far from here. Through the crowds and through the hills of my dreams. Let this heart drift off to where in here.
I see new horizons are opening up, new feelings. I feel great in every moment. When I see the world around me, it makes me
Open to the new shades. Amazing Thailand.
สวัสดีค่ะท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านนะคะ Good morning ladies and gentlemen ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่ TAT Webinar โดยการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยเช้าวันนี้นะคะโดยวันนี้จะเป็นหัวข้อเกี่ยวกับตลาดลาตินอเมริกาค่ะก่อนอื่นขอแนะนำตัวหน่อยนะคะดิฉันพราวมิรันดาเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่การตลาดทททสำนักงานลอสแอนเจลิสดูแลตลาดลาตินอเมริกาค่ะซึ่งจะมาทำหน้าที่เป็นผู้ดำเนินรายการในวันนี้นะคะสำหรับตลาดลาตินอเมริกาเนี่ยต้องบอกว่าเป็นตลาดที่น่าสนใจมากๆค่ะบางท่านอาจจะพอคุ้นกับตลาดนี้หรืออาจจะเป็นตลาดใหม่สำหรับท่านผู้ประกอบการหลายๆท่านนะคะซึ่งเป็นโอกาสที่ดีที่เรามี Webinar Session นี้เพื่อให้ท่านผู้ประกอบการทุกๆท่านได้รู้จักกับตลาดลาตินอเมริกามากขึ้นนะคะและเห็นว่าตลาดเนี้ยมี potential และมีศักยภาพขนาดไหนนะคะตลาดลาตินอเมริกาเนี่ยถือเป็นตลาดระยะไกลที่สุดหรือเราจะเรียกว่า super long haul destination เลยก็ว่าได้นะคะการที่นักท่องเที่ยวจากลาตินอเมริกาเนี่ยยอมเดินทางกว่า 25-30 ชั่วโมงเพื่อมาเที่ยวที่ประเทศไทยนั้นเป็นส่วนหนึ่งที่แสดงให้เห็นว่าเขาอยากจะมาประเทศไทยจริงๆนะคะสำหรับ Webinar Session ในวันนี้จะแบ่งออกเป็น3ส่วนนะคะส่วนแรกก็จะพูดถึงการเติบโตของตลาดลาตินอเมริกาซึ่งตลาดนี้เนี่ยเรามีจำนวนนักท่องเที่ยวและรายได้โดยเฉลี่ยเพิ่มขึ้นทุกปีก่อนที่จะเกิดสถานการณ์ Covid-19 นะคะในส่วนที่2จะพูดถึงสถานการณ์ณปัจจุบันในภูมิภาคลาตินอเมริกาค่ะและส่วนสุดท้ายเนี่ยตามหัวข้อเลยค่ะก็จะพูดถึงพฤติกรรมนักท่องเที่ยวชาวลาตินอเมริกาที่คาดว่าจะเกิดขึ้นหลังจากการสิ้นสุดการระบาดของโควิด -19 ค่ะซึ่งท่านวิทยากรทั้ง2ท่านในวันนี้จะบรรยายเกี่ยวกับตลาดลาตินอเมริกาให้พวกเราฟังโดยละเอียดอีกทีนะคะ So today's session on the Latin America market will be divided into 3 parts. The first part, our speakers will be talking about how the Latin America market had been growing before we faced the COVID-19. The second part will give you the update on the latest situation in Latin America, how's it going there. And finally, the last part, the speaker will provide you some marketing insights on how we think, based on several research, based on our insights, Latin America travel behaviors will be after COVID-19 and how we can work with this particular market. So now, please allow me to introduce you to 2 speakers who definitely are experts in the Latin America market and of course who love Thailand very much. Our first speaker is probably no stranger to some of you, our TAT marketing representative based in Brazil, Kun Jefferson Santos.
Sawadee krap.
สวัสดีค่ะคุณ Jeff how are you
Doing so good, so
all
well,
right
Kumprol. I
good
hope you are good.
I'm good as well thank you so much and let me introduce you to our second speaker he's actually our newest member of TAT Los Angeles team our marketing representative based in Mexico คุณ Manuel Hernandez
Sawadee-krap.
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะคุณ Manuel buenas noches buenas noches how are you
Buenas noches.
yes
Good.
Good,
Thank you.
good. Thank you. All right. So both Kun Jeff and Kun Manuel will give you a brief overview of the Latin America market and share with you some marketing insights on how to work with this particular market. So now, Kun Jeff, we will turn this over to you.
Thank you so much, Kumproud. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Sawadee krap. And very warm welcome from Brazil. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this presentation about the state of the Latin American travel market and its behavior during and eventually post COVID-19 environment. But before going into the presentation, and as you already know, later today I will be joined by Cum Manuel Hernandez. Cum Manuel is the newly appointed TAT representative to Mexico and possibly the newest member of the TAT's marketing family in overseas. And this is a great news actually to start our virtual market briefing with because it signals how serious the TAT through its Los Angeles office headed by Kung Kitipong Prapatong is about creating new markets for Thailand. And talking about markets, let me share a few things about our region where I'm located today. As you remember, Latin America is a very huge area from Los Algodones in Mexico, near the border with the US, to Cape Horn at the southern end of the Tierra del Fuego. We are 20 countries plus a number of, how say, a number of ultramarine territories, including French Guiana, Martinica, and etc., which means a population combined of almost 600 million people. My country, Brazil alone, it has a population of about 210 million people, which is bigger than the population of France, the UK, Spain, and the Netherlands all combined. So as you can see, this is a very big and potential market for Thailand. And we are happy increasing our exposure to these different countries across the entire Latin American region. In fact, we were working very hard to create new opportunities and great outbound numbers from Latin to Thailand when we were hit by the COVID-19. But we are still confident that markets will recover as the coronavirus runs its course and the number of infected people falls. So we will see Latinos reinstating their travel plans. This scenario is challenging, of course, but there is still a lot of potential post this crisis. This new situation is definitely changing the beliefs and the values of the South American travelers. And after dealing with the lockdowns, we sincerely believe that as soon as they can step outside their homes and feel safe, most of them will want to live in the most intense and natural way that it can be, that even exists. And traveling is certainly one of the things that they will keep as a priority for sure. So, having said all this, allow me just a few seconds before I can share my screen and we can go live. Okay, great. So let's have a look at the scenario pre-COVID-19. Looking at the outbound figures, we can have an idea of the main feeding markets for Thailand from our regions. They are Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina. And allow me now to say a few things concerning to this graphic that we are looking at right now. Look at the number of outbound travelers from these markets. Together, they were responsible for nearly 39 million overseas trips in 2019. Although 2019 wasn't a great year for most of the South America and for the Argentinian market especially, we have seen some very significant numbers from both Mexico and Brazil. And that's really exciting for us. As to Brazil, we were getting back on track after a very complicated 2018 when our country held the presidential elections and our Brazilian tourists invaded Russia for the World Cup. Back to last year, our Brazilian economy was on its recovery path from the deep 2015-2016 recession, and we kept traveling. In other words, in spite of occasional waves of political and economic instability, our region has been enjoying consistent growth in terms of outbound travel to long haul destinations. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is also something very important from our region that we are not seeing in here. There are a few other very important markets from our region, including Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, and Uruguay, as well as Peru, that combined represents a great deal for Thailand. I take the liberty in saying that this is another almost 100,000 passenger market for Thailand from these very emerging countries as well. Last from this chart, I would like to highlight and express that not even the geographical distance between South America and Thailand, that in some cases, believe me, might represent a 40 hours plus air travel duration, is our biggest problem when promoting Thailand for Latino travelers. We understand that the destination had developed a great reputation amongst our people, and we are very confident that it has potential to grow even more. As I was saying about growth potential, here we can see how our numbers were growing in Q1, but as everybody knows by now, the winds have changed dramatically, and our reality is a bit different. But when we look at this chart, we can see that South America, Latin America, especially Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico, we were traveling to Thailand. We were having very positive indicators, and we were expecting a very interesting season from South America, from Latin America to Thailand. Well, this is a blink of an eye on the average spending per trip. And as you can realize, as you can see, our average spending per travel is very close to the US numbers. And basically, we can see here how much our travelers spend with shopping, entertainment, including restaurants, bar, and some sorts of the optional sightseeing. The average length of stay is also very interesting, as you can see. However, it depends a lot of the originating market, as the length of stay may change depending on the nationality of the Latino visitor. As I said in my very beginning, we are 20 different nationalities across the region with very different interests and requirements as well as lifestyles. So let's try now to understand a bit of the behavior and interests of our Latino traveler. And although, like I just said, there are many differences between us, there are a lot of similarities. So let's take what we have in common, what is common amongst the Latinos, and try to make it as a kind of reference for our study here today. In general, as you can see, the US, the United States, are the number one destination for South American travelers. Brazil alone, it has sent about 2 million tourists to the US back to 2018, and the growing numbers were expected to 2019. Then we can see that the cross-border tourism make its way to the top of the list, followed by European destinations. When it comes to Asia, I would say that Thailand is the destination of choice for most of the Latinos. We can see something also very interesting at that chart. The first thing is that Israel makes the top of the list in a, let's say, geographically speaking, Asia. But please understand that most of Latinos identify themselves as Christians. And so, being Israel the cradle of our faith and the multiple flights available between Latin America and Tel Aviv, it is understandable that a higher number of visitors from our region to Israel, to the Holy Land, is very much clear the reason behind that. Following Israel, we have China, and here we have a very conflicting data. I should remark to all of you here today that China has been an important destination for Latin American travelers for several years now, not only for tourism, but mainly for business purposes. Apart from this, there is also a big Chinese ethnic community across Latin America who might represent a good percentage of VFR travelers to China. So I'm unsure if those 81,000 leisure travelers to China are a good estimate or not. On the other hand, I can affirm that Thailand will remain as the leading leisure destination for Latinos, certainly for Brazil, with Brazilians, with Argentinos, and I pretty much confident that in Mexico as well, because our works as TAT are directed in shifting potential visitors from the US, Europe to Thailand. So we are working very hard in that direction as well. Let me now give you some examples of what we have been doing so far to promote Thailand to our Latino people. As you can see, we have attended the most important travel trade shows in our region. By participating at these shows, we have realized how travel agents and the tour operators have been increasingly engaged in offering and working with Thailand as a destination for South American and the Latino in general traveler. In addition to the trade shows, we have also participated at the most important consumer shows in the region, including Kazar, which is South America's most important bridal show. We have been partnering with Kazar for the past several years and consolidating Thailand's reputation as the wedding and the honeymoon destination. The TAT Los Angeles office and its reps in Latin have also coordinated many fan trips for professionals and medias, as well as webinars, in-housing training, and sessions and the training sessions, including during this time. We are very, very, very active in social medias. In fact, last year we have assigned a dedicated team only to handle social medias in our area. We work very, very closely and support our friends in the industry, including travel agents, tour operators, and those airlines servicing both Latin and Thailand. And more recently, we started a cooperation with Santos Football Club, one of the most important Brazilian soccer clubs, home of Pelé and Neymar, two of the greatest soccer players of the world, as you all know. We are sponsoring Santos youth categories, with youth teams, and this activity has proven to be one of the most effective investments that we ever did. And although the actions have been temporarily suspended due to the COVID-19 crisis, in 3 months, believe me, in 3 months, we have received about 450,000 US dollars worth of free media coverage for Thailand. This is a great project, and as you know, soccer is a very important component into the Latino way of life, into the Latino community. And we are very convinced that this is a fantastic opportunity to show Thailand to a huge, huge audience. I think it's time to speak a bit about what COVID is doing in our part of the globe. I promise not to take too much of your time on this, even because there are plenty of information available about this subject at the Thai News. So you can easily find information on how the disease or how the coronavirus progresses in our region. Okay. You will notice that it appears that COVID has hit our country differently from region to region, or how our different governments have reacted differently throughout the region to combat the virus. Just two remarks on this, though. The first one is that we are still very skeptical about how the Brazilian government is dealing with the COVID-19. But given the size of our country and its population, I said it before, and I say it, and I will say it again: the population of France, the UK, Spain, and the Netherlands combined is still smaller than Brazil's population. So it seems like Brazil, compared to what happens in the US or happened in Europe, is somehow getting good results, even with very strong difficulties in structuring a common or federal combat plan under Mr. Bolsonaro's administration. From a very personal perception, yes, it could be better here in Brazil, but things could be a lot worse as well. On the other direction, we have one of the smallest countries in the region, which is Ecuador, as you can see, with one of the highest death rates per million people. So at this point in time, it is still unclear if the transmission rate of the virus is growing or taking a downturn in Latin. But we know that most of the countries have imposed either curfews or lockdowns to try to combat and make the virus a smaller problem in our part of the globe. With regards to the industry, the news from them are not that good, as in every other part of the globe. But yes, they are all alive and working together to encourage people to travel as soon as the pandemic is over. And of course, flights are resumed. Almost 100% of the agents are working from home, and many tour operators and the travel companies are, as we speak, investing on new technologies so that their teams can keep in touch and sharing content with their clients, with their customers. And talking about staying connected, we have stayed close to our partners and consumers and trying to develop situations and solutions in line with this time. Social media is a constant resource to keep in touch with our customers at the moment. We also kept sending regular newsletter to our partners, agents, and tour operators across the entire region. And more recently, as you can see on the screen, we have developed a new Thailand specialist program, both in Portuguese and Spanish, so that travel professionals with a little more time can go online and learn a lot more about Thailand and its attractions. Not to mention that we have held dozens and dozens of webinars since the pandemic began. So now let's try to talk a bit about the future, or at least to try to think how is the future of the tourism industry in Latin America. Well, it's common sense that many things will need to happen before travels return to the pre-COVID-19 levels. This crisis has showed us very clearly how the pieces of our industry are interconnected. Definitely. To begin with, we can say that the recommencement of travel is directly associated with the eradication of COVID-19 or the development of a cure. More than this, we agree that the return of the tourism is associated with the rebirth of the economies in our affected countries. And the forecasts are not good, as you can see on this latest world economic outlook. The market also depends on the reactivation of airlines networks and the restructuration of flights. But once the crisis is under control, we believe that the economy will gradually return to normal, and our people will start planning their trips again. In fact, we have signs, very good signs, that the leisure trip, although subject to this flight's availability, it is expected to start by the end of this coming Q3. In other words, we hope that the first Latinos will be there in time for the year-end celebrations, or hopefully, and maybe a little earlier than that. Apart from this, we all believe that the South American travel industry will return to its new normal, levels by the end of Q2 or Q3 of 2021 at the latest. I'm about to finish here, but before handing over the stage to Kun Manuel, I would like to reiterate a key aspect of our markets, especially at this moment. Latin America was never considered a mass market for Thailand, and I don't think it will ever be a volume-based region, a volume-based source for the destination. We are working very, very hard to reach the 300,000 packs mark combined from all Latin, which is still a lot less than what a major European or even the US produces alone to Thailand. But we can ensure that we are targeting the very quality segment, people looking for unique experiences with exceptional experience providers at lesser known destinations. At the end of the day, I can ensure that we are working very hard to send the best Latinos to Thailand. And believe us, once the crisis is under control, our people will be back to Thailand. Allow me now to invite Manuel Hernandez to the stage. Manuel, the microphone is all yours for now.
Thank you very much, Gunjev. Sawadee krab. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you this morning to let you know about what is happening in the Latin American market. I am in charge of Mexico since this year. We had just started in January, and we had very good meetings together with Kun Proud, and we were able to notice that people were really interested in traveling to Thailand and to send their passengers to Thailand. So it was very unfortunate that this crisis started by the end of February for us, and earlier in Thailand. But it is very important that TAT took the decision to do a lot more things in Mexico. So I have been working one way or another with Thailand for more than 30 years. So I really know Thailand. I love Thailand, and I like Thai people. All the way Thai people are is really amazing. And people in Mexico have noticed that they are really well received in Thailand, and they love to travel to Thailand. So believe me, the number of passengers was growing before the COVID-19. And once this is over, people will return to that. Excuse me. So let me share my screen, and to show some slides I would like to share with you. Just a second, please. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Here we are. The return, the most important part is that the travel agents who felt they were somehow forgotten by all the tourism industry and passengers, they feel they really now, after the COVID-19 started and people or travelers realized they were working very hard to cancel or postpone their trips during the beginning of this, and that all those passengers who went to the travel agencies and request services through the travel agencies were able to go and talk to somebody and solve the problems in a very easy way. So that was very important for the passengers, and now a lot of them really think that the travel agents are necessary. But it is important that the travel agents really get prepared and get trained, take courses, and have all the information they need so that they can easily talk to the people, to the travelers, and explain and provide all the information that they were already doing by themselves online. So that is a very important part for the travel agents. So we will need to pay a lot of attention to them and we will need to provide as much information, images, videos, and to provide all what they need to continue doing their jobs. After the crisis, there's a resignification of the act of traveling. People have been locked down for at least 60 days, in some cases 90 days, 120 days. So people are tired of being in-house, but this has provided to them the opportunity to understand how important the life is and how important is to do all the things they really want to do. For most of the people right now, one of the things they really want to do is going to the beach. That is for sure. All Mexicans are thinking like that. Once this is over, I really want to go to the beach. I want to see my family. I want to do several things. So traveling will be a very important part. And in that sense, for many Latinos, there's a bucket list, and normally they, as you saw in the graphic showed by Jeff, there's a lot of destinations before Thailand to travel to. They go very easily to the United States, to Europe, to other places in Latin America, and then okay, it's time to go for Asia. So now this will accelerate their wishes, because a lot of people think, I really want to do that, and I don't know what it will happen. So this bucket acceleration might be a very important thing to happen for us. The same, as I was mentioning before, a lot of people will be traveling in families. They have been locked down as a family. They have talked, they have dreamed together. So now it's time to do things, a lot of things together. So that will mean it will not be only the couple, but it will be also the children. In that sense, it will be very important to continue participating in the promotional events, and as I was mentioning before, with the travel agents, and not only with them, but also with the wholesalers and tour operators, to continue doing fam trips, to show them and to let them know how good Thailand has been in handling the COVID-19. Thailand has been one of the best countries in handling this pandemic. So it's important to let them know all this, so that they, together with the journalists or media, so that everybody knows, okay, if you want to go to a safe place, please go to Thailand. This is the place to go. Basically, the people, since a lot of people will be losing, or they have been losing their jobs, we can expect that basically the people who have the money, they can travel to Thailand. Quality travelers, they will continue traveling for sure. But we consider not only these kind of travelers will travel to Thailand. We think that, and some studies say that millennials, or people the ages 18 to 35, will travel first, and they will travel to all the places they have been looking for. And believe me, Thailand is in the mind of the young people. They like the country, they like the way they can travel, they like the things they can do. So we really can expect this within the following, well, the end of this year or the next years. Again, the multi-generational travel that will take place for sure. And the honeymoon, the couples will travel to Thailand, as they have been traveling already. This means all these will form the number of travelers, that the potential travelers that Thailand has, and the numbers in the Latin American region, as Kun Jeff already mentioned, is a very important market. If we talk about the behavior post COVID, the Latin American travelers are always looking for opportunities to travel. So that means they will be looking for specials, and after being locked down, they really are anxious to travel. They really want to travel, and this is a big opportunity for us. Most airlines are expected to continue operating different places this month. They have already done. In the case of Mexico, All Nippon Airways has continued to travel from between Mexico and Tokyo, and that is a very good opportunity to continue to Thailand. Yeah, that is one airline, but and they have been operating. The only thing is that Japan is still closed, so they are not admitting people. Basically, the flights that are still operating are based on business travelers. So once all these flights and airlines they start arranging things, the people will start traveling. So as I mentioned before, the premium class, I mean the high-end travelers and the millennials are expected to travel first, and all the people with higher income are right now spending a lot of money in online. They are spending a lot of money buying things, and some of them might already be able to book travel or tours or things like that for next year. As an example, in Brazil, there's a credit card that increased 200% the sales. So that is big, and in Mexico has been happening the same. So we really think that after the crisis is over, we will be able to continue sending more Latinos to Thailand. So we can expect a boost in everything digital right now. And Lindsay Lear, who is an expert on payments, she said that the consumer behavior is really big in online things on the e-commerce. Kind of providing a summary on this, after the COVID is over, people will look to travel to places that show that they have kind of standards like the safety and sanity certification as the SHA. That is one of them. The World Tourism and Travel Council has also been working on certifications. So these kind of things will help a lot. And as I mentioned before, the way we let people know, let travelers know, and let travel agents and wholesalers know that Thailand handle things very well, a lot more people will be able to travel to Thailand. We will depend very much on how the airlines come back. Some airlines will stop operations or reduce operations or reduce the seat capacity, but we will still, we don't know that, but whatever it happens, we are confident that we will have seats available to travel to Thailand. Also, another important part is to reduce the travel advisories. Thailand is locked until the end of June. Hopefully, they will open right after. And also, it will be important to see how the quarantine requirements for visitors will be in Thailand. Hopefully, they will be they will meet the best standards so that people say, okay, I can travel to Thailand. I can maybe there's already a vaccine and people are able to travel in an easier way. We will depend on that. Also, the attractive package rates from tour operators. In this sense, it is very important that all the MCs, hotels, and all the tourism industry in Thailand is able and open to work hard with us, with Kunjev and myself, and also with the wholesalers, so that you produce and are able to offer a very good package rates. And also for Mexican, we noticed that when we were basically in Guadalajara and Mexico City, we were talking to wholesalers, and they were very happy that the e-visa online was e-visa on arrival was available for Mexico. That was working very well, and there was also the opportunity to waive the visa fee until the end of April, and unfortunately this didn't continue because of all the COVID-19. But hopefully we can have that back as soon as this is over. What is very important is tourism has a new meaning, and that is the importance of traveling in human life. It is really, really, really important, this. And as Kunjev mentioned before, Thailand is a very important destination for Latinos. Not big numbers, but quality people. A lot of people that might not be able to spend a lot in the airfare, but once they are there, they spend a lot of money. They say it was my dream to come to this place. Now I am here. I spend first, I think later. That is the way the Latinos think, and they spend a lot of money, believe me. In this graphic, we would like to show you that what it's expected is that the tourism will start recovering during the following months. Once it will start by the local, then domestic, and then it will go international. So by the end of the year, and hopefully before, we expect that people will start planning their trips to international destinations. Christmas is a big celebration in all Latin America, and that is when people start saying, okay, I am able to spend enough money to send the people to go to the places I really want to go, and Thailand is a very good opportunity. So let me pass thank you very much for listening to this part of the presentation, and let me return the mic to Kunjev so that he goes to the following slide.
Hello, I'm back again. Gracias, Kun Manuel. Muchas gracias. I just wanted to share with you some of our upcoming activities to ensure our presence in the markets are are still there, and a faster recovery of our numbers once all this crisis is gone. We are, as we speak, working in a buy now, vacation later campaign. This is something that might be very adequate at the moment to generate revenue to our industry's members. But since Latin is a very, believe me, very, very regulated market, we are studying all the different laws and suitable partners across our region to launch this program. This is something that may happen very soon. It is quite clear that we should remain active, particularly now through our social and the sport and media activations, as it is the way that we can reach the biggest audiences and potentially more travelers to Thailand. Kazar Bridal Show, as I said, is the biggest bridal show in our region. This will be held in this coming October, and while a new format has not been disclosed, the TAT will be there to attract this quality segment to us, to Thailand. Apart from this, we are very ready to initiate our media and the travel professionals fam trips to Thailand as soon as the markets are open, as well as a series of post-COVID sales calls and the road shows across South America once the flights are back and the borders are open as well. There will be also opportunities for Thai suppliers to join us on 2 new programs that are currently under development, which are our virtual Latin trade meet. It will take place in August. We are still about to confirm the dates, but it will certainly happen. And the World Travel Mart Latin America that will take place between October 19 to 21st, 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned and check the TAT's offshore channels regularly to receive the latest information about these opportunities. And more than this, take advantage of them. Now, I will hand the microphone over to my colleague, Proud Miranda, in Los Angeles. Proud, please.
Right. All right. Obrigada. Gracias. Thank you very much, Kun Jeff and Kun Manuel, for providing great insights on the Latin America market. I know it's quite late in Brazil and Mexico, so we really appreciate you for being with us today and to help Thai suppliers understand, have a better understanding of this market. And I know that our Thai suppliers has learned a lot from you today. So before we get to Q&A session, please allow me to summarize what you have just talked about and promote our upcoming activities in Thai, okay? ค่ะก็ก่อนจะถึงช่วง Q&A session นะคะก็อยากจะขอสรุปประเด็นที่คุณเจฟกับคุณแมนนัวเนี่ยได้พูดถึงดังนี้นะคะก็ถึงแม้ว่าสถานการณ์อาจจะดูไม่ค่อยสว่างในช่วงนี้นะคะในลาตินอเมริกาด้วยวิกฤตโควิด-19 หรือทางการเมืองเองเนี่ยแต่ทีมของพวกเราก็เชื่อว่าพอสถานการณ์โควิด-19 สิ้นสุดลงจบลงนะคะตลาดลาตินอเมริกาเนี่ยจะกลับมาแข็งแรงเหมือนเดิมหรือแข็งแกร่งยิ่งกว่าเดิมด้วยซ้ำนะคะคนลาตินอเมริกาเนี่ยโดยสายเลือดแล้วเนี่ยชอบเดินทางท่องเที่ยวมากๆค่ะก็ทางเราก็จะทำหน้าที่ให้ประเทศไทยอยู่ใน top of mind destination ของคนลาตินอเมริกาให้ได้นะคะและช่วยเหลือท่านผู้ประกอบการในการจับตลาดลาตินอเมริกานะคะและก็นำนักท่องเที่ยวจากลาตินอเมริกามาเที่ยวประเทศไทยครั้งหนึ่งนะคะทั้งนี้ทางเราได้คาดการไว้ว่าการเดินทางออกต่างประเทศเนี่ยหรือ international travel สำหรับชาวลาตินอเมริกานะคะจะกลับมาอีกครั้งภายในสิ้นปีนี้นะคะปี 2020 หรือไตรมาสแรกของปีหน้าปี 2021 นะคะและก่อนที่ถึง Q&A สุดท้ายก็อยากจะขอประชาสัมพันธ์กิจกรรมของสำนักงานของเรานะคะทททสำนักงานลอสแอนเจลิสสำหรับท่านผู้ใดที่สนใจตลาดลาตินอเมริกานะคะสามารถเข้าร่วมได้ดังนี้นะคะก็อันแรกนะคะเรามีการประชาสัมพันธ์ สถานที่ท่องเที่ยวและโรงแรมในประเทศไทยผ่านทางโซเชียลมีเดียของ TRT ลาตินอเมริกาและ e-newsletter อยู่เรื่อยๆนะคะซึ่งเราได้ขึ้นชื่อโซเชียลมีเดียของเราทั้งภาษาโปรตุเกสซึ่งเป็นภาษาราชการของบราซิลนะคะและภาษาสเปนนะคะซึ่งเป็นภาษาราชการของประเทศในประเทศลาตินอเมริกานะคะในหน้า slide contact us นะคะสามารถไป follow กันได้และตอนนี้ก็มี Thailand Specialist ด้วยถ้าท่านใดสนใจอยากให้เราช่วยประชาสัมพันธ์ธุรกิจของท่านสามารถส่งข้อมูลมาได้ที่คุณเจฟคุณมานัวหรือดิฉันนะคะงานที่2ก็คือเรากำลังจะจัดงาน Virtual Trade Meet South America Chapter ตามที่คุณเจฟได้กล่าวไปก่อนหน้านี้นะคะโดยจะมาทดแทน Trade Show ที่ได้ถูกเลื่อนหรือยกเลิกไปเพราะสถานการณ์โควิด -19 แต่เรายังอยากจะเปิดโอกาสให้ท่านผู้ประกอบการท่านใดที่สนใจตลาดลาตินอเมริกานะคะเข้ามาจัดตลาดในรูปฉบับออนไลน์นะคะถ้าท่านใดสนใจสามารถติดต่อสอบถามรายละเอียดได้ที่ พวกเรานะคะคาดว่าจะมีงานดังกล่าวขึ้นภายในเดือนสิงหาคมนี้ค่ะเอาละค่ะเวลาก็เหลือน้อยนิดแล้วนะคะเราไปที่ Q&A กันเลยนะคะ so now we are going to get to Q&A session since we have quite limited time. If we don't get to your questions, please do not hesitate to email us and we are more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, so let's go to Q&A. So the first question, let's see. Kun Jeff, Kun Manuel, maybe Kun Jeff can start first. What are the top 3 destinations in Thailand for Latin American travelers?
Wow, this is not an easy question to answer because, like I said, there are many differences between the Latinos and what works for Brazilians not necessarily works for Argentinians, for instance. But I would say that in general, yes, the central Thailand with Bangkok and the neighbor cities are a must for the entire Latin American region. Kun Manuel has already mentioned about the South region, the beaches. So I think that the Andaman and the Gulf of Thailand are key destinations for Latin Americans, especially Phuket, Krabi, Samui. Coconut is growing amongst South Americans and Latinos in general, and a smaller portion goes north, especially when it comes to Brazilians and Argentinians, Chileans, for instance, Peruvians and Colombians, and eventually Mexicans. Perhaps they like going north to Chiang Mai, and all that part of Thailand. But when it comes to Brazilians and Argentinian, I would say that Bangkok and Phuket, or Bangkok and Samui, or eventually those 2 cities, those 2 islands in southern Thailand makes the top of the list, followed by, of course, I mean, having Bangkok as the gateway to Thailand.
Okay, thank you so much, Kun Jeff. So let's see. I think we have time for 2 more questions. So let's see what our second question is. So what do you think are the most important messages for marketing to the Latin markets right now? Bucket list, inspiration, hygiene, value, etc.
That's Kumano or me, or should I keep? Should I?
Yeah. Well, I would like to answer this question.
I think that Kumanuel can also add something. But from my perception, I would say that we should concentrate our efforts in marketing, in showcase Thailand as a safe destination, because first of all, Thailand has proved to have led and handled quite well this situation, this COVID crisis, from a foreign perception. For us in Latin America, Thailand is an example on how to deal with this COVID crisis. I think that it's time to showcase Thailand as the wellness place for South Americans. So we will concentrate our efforts in that direction as well, because South Americans, Latinos will look for some peace and harmony, or in other words, inspiration. After all these crises, they will want to go to a place where they can find themselves. So we are pretty much convinced that we need to touch the spiritual side of the trip. It's clear that our travelers will be looking for new meaning when they go overseas, and we will try to showcase Thailand as the place when people can fulfill all these new desires, when it comes to find themselves and somehow integrating their different personalities, the human, the spiritual, and all that thing. So we will showcase inspirational travel. We will showcase Thailand as a safe destination, and after all, the wellness in Thailand. I mean, Thailand as a place where people can get both of the benefits, the sophistication of a great destination, as well as all the Thainess backgrounds.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Kunjev, and I would just add that people will be looking for authentic experiences, and Thailand has a lot to offer in that sense, as well as adventure. um, a very special adventure that they can live at a certain part in the city, in the capital city, and also in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, or even in the south, a combination of mountain adventure or and so that will be land and sea experiences in South Thailand. So that is, I think the efforts should go on that way.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Kun Jeff Emmanuel. I think we have time for one last question.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, this is a very good question. So for language, is it okay to speak Spanish to Brazilians or speak Portuguese to other Latin Americans if we really do not have a native speaker staff? Could Jeff
Wow,
want to start?
this is a very nice question, actually, because I always say that language is our biggest barrier. As you can see, at least from my side, I'm not a good in English speaking person, so Spanish is always better for most Latinos than having in English. But I would say that most of the Brazilians would understand Spanish quite well. If you do not have a Portuguese speaking guide available in Thailand, the Spanish speaking guides will take care of the job for sure. I have taken many groups to Thailand, travel professionals, media, celebrities, and etc. And that most of the times we have been with Thai Spanish speaking guides, and they were great. So if you do not have a Portuguese speaking guide, then we should work with the Spanish. On the other hand, I'm not so sure whether a Portuguese speaking tour guide would do so well with Spanish speakers. This is something that Manuel will have to say. But one thing is sure, Brazilians, Argentinians, and etc., perhaps Mexicans, perhaps they can take an English speaking guides because they are very close to the US and they talk English a lot better than the rest of Latin America. But rather than English, most of us will like to go with Spanish speaking guides for sure.
How about for
Yeah.
Mexicans, Kun Manuel?
Well, for Mexicans, a lot of people are able to understand people speaking in Portuguese, but basically they would rather have a combination of both. So maybe the guides speak both languages. So in some cases, if they if there's a group that this situation might change a lot. But if it's a group and there's a guide that speaks both Portuguese and Spanish, they can use both languages. I'm not sure that Mexicans, well, Mexicans, as Kunjev has mentioned, a lot of them speak English. They are able to speak English. And but I think that speaking in Portuguese, if there's no other choice, would be fine. However, they would prefer to have either English or Spanish. If you mix both Brazilians and Mexicans, it's a big party. So a lot of people will be very happy. Brazilians and Mexicans, well, generally speaking, in all Latin America, we all get together very easily, and since we have the same, most of us have the same religion, and we speak almost the same language, and Portuguese and Spanish looks very much. I have been reading a lot in Portuguese, and I noticed that I can understand a lot. And the same happens for Brazilians when we speak Spanish. So I think that is not really a big problem.
Okay, so I know that Portuguese and Spanish are quite similar, but my understanding is that Portuguese able to understand Spanish more than Spanish understanding Portuguese, correct?
I totally agree.
Okay. But for Mexican travelers, it can be both in English or Spanish, right? Because Mexicans tend to speak more English than other parts of Latin America.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, so actually we would like to ask for 2 more questions. We actually have more questions coming in, so
Wonderful.
very exciting. This is very exciting. That shows how interested our suppliers are.
That's good.
yeah.
We love it.
So the next question: how far in advance are Latin American markets booking travel to Thailand? So I guess estimate booking windows.
Oh, I see. Well, one thing it is what used to happen in the past. I mean, what we are facing right now is something totally new, and all of our predictions are based on everything that we will say now is when it comes to booking window and etc. is basically what used to happen in the past, because after all this time at the home, during these curfews, lockdowns, and etc., we do not know when people or what is going to be the new pattern when deciding the time of replacing the booking and leaving the country for Thailand. But in the past, let's say pre-COVID-19, we were talking about an average of 3 months booking window for most of the South America. I would say that the Brazilians, they are a lot more of last minute travels, but when it comes to Argentinians, to Chileans, especially Chileans, they are very strict on that. Colombians, they are very classic and strict on that as well. So they take more time. Brazilians are a lot more of a last minute and opportunity taking travelers, but in average, it was an average of 3 months before. But we don't know what will come after this COVID. Some people says that they will accelerate their travel plans, as Kun Manuel has talked a lot with the booked list acceleration. We might see something very, very interesting in the near future, and people will try to take any new opportunity to go overseas, and let's see how many of it then will go to Thailand. But in the past, I would say an average of 3 months, and put aside some Brazilians that take a lot of opportunity to travel, are opportunity takers, and the last minute travelers as well.
Okay. Could Manuel
I
anything
would
to add?
say, yeah, it will be the same. Brazilians and Mexicans, we are very much the same. people to travel to Thailand, you might not believe me, but people would be able to decide that weeks in advance or 1 month in advance. So, but for sure that will change, especially because all the requirements and so. But yeah, Mexicans are very much late bookers.
Okay. Okay, so you say up to 3 months, but there are also a group of people who book last minute travel as well, right? This is, of course, before the COVID situation, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Before
So,
the COVID situation,
uh-huh,
maybe 3 months would be a lot of time.
right.
So let's say
So between that,
within 3 months, yes.
yes. Okay. So now after COVID, we'll see what's the travel booking window will be, right? Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just
All
just
right.
for you to have an idea, if people go to a party in Mexico on Friday, and in the party they say, "Well, there's a place like that," and they say, "Oh, why don't we go?" Okay, when? Tomorrow, and people travel. Yeah, like that.
I'm sure there's a
Party animals. We are all party animals in Latin America. That's it.
like to have fun,
Exactly.
party, right? Okay. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much for this question. Okay, now we really on the last question. This is actually a very good question.
Yes.
As a quality market, do they always prefer 4 to 5 star hotels with exclusive service only? Or they also like casual hotel with unique experience and adventure? I would say both, right? Good job.
Yes, certainly. We cannot forget, Kumprad, that a 4 star or a small in Thailand is a lot beyond the average of what South American and Latinos are used. So when they go to a 4 star hotel in Thailand, they feel like if they were in a 5 or 6 star hotels in Latin America. When they go to a boutique hotel in Thailand, wow, they are always the wow factor is always present with most of the Latino travelers. So we have both markets for sure. But one thing we can confirm, they will be very satisfied, very happy with whatever decision they go. We know that there is a very demanding market in Latin America. They usually like going to very sophisticated, very 5 star exclusive resorts, hotels, and etc. There are a good number of people going to Thailand and staying at 40 star upper class hotels. But there are also those at the moderate range. And the good thing is that we offer always more than they do expect. So when they go to Thailand, they are always happy with their accommodation because they are not used to the level of service that Thailand delivers to their customers, to its visitors, because they are used. I mean, our people are used to travel to places where the service standard is a lot lower. So when they are there, they are always happy with their choice, anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I would just add that basically the rich people will go to 5 stars hotels. So they will continue traveling to those places with exclusive services and so. And as I mentioned before, the new millennials or the millennials, they will go to lower stars hotels, but still good ones.
Mhm.
Basically, it will be like that.
Yes. Yes. So I think from my experience, yes, there's a group of people who like to stay for 5 stars hotel, but I know there's a huge group of people, even if
Yes.
they're like a upper class, have money, like to stay in boutique hotels and then decide to spend more money on the unique experience, the adventure, the cultural experience, the shopping, especially shopping, right?
When
So
it comes to Brazilian, yes, they go for shopping.
yes,
They
most
want to
likely.
spend their money with the bars and shopping.
Yes, for sure. All right. I think that's
Exactly.
it for our questions. That's all the time we have. So before we end the session, I would like to thank Kun Jeff and Kun Manuel for being with us today. I know it's really late in Brazil and also in Mexico as well. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Kuma
you.
Krab. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
ค่ะ
much.
Obrigada, gracias. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Thank you.
ค่ะก็ก่อนจะจบเซสชันในวันนี้นะคะก็จะขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์ TAT Webinar Session ต่อไปเกี่ยวกับตลาดยุโรปนะคะในหัวข้อ Market Situation and Expectations in Baltics Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania โดยทททสำนักงานสต็อกโฮล์มนะคะท่านใดสนใจสามารถ register และมาเข้าร่วมฟังได้ในวันจันทร์หน้าที่ 8 มิถุนายนเวลา 14 นาฬิกาถึง 15 นาฬิกานะคะ So before we end the session, I would like to announce our next TAT webinar session from the European market in the topic Market Situation and Expectations in Baltics, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania by TAT Stockholm office. So for those who are interested, please register and join us next Monday, June 8th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. และในส่วนของกิจกรรมในส่วนของวันนี้นะคะกิจกรรมที่เราได้พูดคุยกันทั้งหมดได้ถูกบันทึกเทปไว้ซึ่งท่านผู้ประกอบการสามารถโหลดดูย้อนหลังได้และ presentation ในส่วนของ presentation ก็จะสามารถดาวน์โหลดได้เช่นกันนะคะมีคำถามอะไรก็สามารถติดต่อพวกเราได้ตลอดเลยนะคะในหน้า contact us สไลด์สุดท้ายของ presentation นะคะก็จะมีอีเมลของพวกเราอยู่ก็ขอบพระคุณทุกท่านที่เข้ามาร่วมฟังในค่ำคืนนี้นะคะขออภัยค่ะเช้าวันนี้นะคะพอดีเป็นฝั่งเราเป็นช่วงกลางคืนก็ขอบคุณอีกครั้งและสวัสดีค่ะ Thank you very much for joining us today